Leave it there, Rika. Thank you also for bringing us all those updates. I have to move on to some other stories at this moment. Moving on to Telangana, where BRS Working President K.T. Rama Rao demanded the cancellation of tenders worth 8,888 crore rupees awarded under the Amrut 2.0 scheme in Telangana, suspecting huge corruption and crony capitalism. He also demanded a thorough investigation by the centre into the tender process and immediate action against those involved. Now, KTR seems to suggest that there cannot be a bigger example of crony capitalism, corruption and abuse of power. Meanwhile, the Congress has rubbished these allegations and called them baseless.
Your party and the leaders also met Manohar Lal Khattar over these allegations. What are these allegations based on? And you also mentioned about this company which has been allotted thousands of crores of the tender has no qualification to get such tenders. Why are you making such allegations?
Well, Rahul Gandhi keeps talking about crony capitalism and corruption and abuse of power. And that's exactly what's happening in Telangana today. The Chief Minister's brother-in-law's company, which has neither financial capabilities nor technical abilities, has been awarded a work of 1,137 crore by way of a joint venture with a large company. Now, the issue here is very straightforward. There is a conflict of interest angle, there is an office of profit angle, and most importantly, there is the crony capitalism angle. If you notice, this company with a net profit of 2.2 crore in last financial year, and the previous year it was about 3 crores, today apparently has suddenly magically attained the abilities to execute a work of 1,100 crore of work. So therefore, questions are being asked, and we have presented the documentary evidence to Shri Manohar Lal Khattar ji. We have also shared it with you in the media conference just now. And I'm hoping that Prime Minister Modi and his cabinet and his colleagues who keep talking about how Congress has converted Telangana into an ATM will act on these evidences, will act on these complaints. Because अगर आप बात करते रहेंगे और उस पर कोई एक्शन नहीं होगा, जनता में भी आपसे विश्वास उड़ जाएगा. इसलिए मैं मोदी जी से और केंद्र सरकार से भी कहने ये आया कि तेलंगाना में जो अमृत में स्कैम हुआ, इस घोटाले का इंक्वायरी हो, एक जांच हो और पूरी तरह से फैक्ट्स क्या है लोगों के सामने आए.
An incident in Vikarabad district of Telangana that has caused a little bit of concern because it falls into the Chief Minister's constituency. I have with me Senior Minister Mr. Sridhar Babu. The attack, should I say, by the villagers on the collector's team. The collector has personally said he was not attacked, but the visuals seem to suggest that there was a lot of tension, stone pelting, and canes were used as well. What is happening?
No, basically our government has taken this very seriously. And we have ordered for an inquiry, proper inquiry, thorough inquiry out. And we see political conspiracy behind it. Over a period of 10 months, what we have seen, what we have witnessed, any time government is coming forward with some developmental work or a welfare scheme, our opponent party, especially the TRS, is trying to obstruct, is trying to create some problem. Whoever are behind the conspiracy, we will take them to task. And after the thorough inquiry has been done by the IG, we will see that they are thoroughly punished too, because it's the matter concerning about administration. And our collector, a district magistrate and a collector, and also a senior officer, and many other officers, and their cars and their vehicles have been damaged. So government will take it very seriously.
All right, let's very quickly, in fact, go across to the story which is coming in from Prayagraj, Uttar Pradesh. Thousands of students there are protesting since now more than 24 hours outside the Uttar Pradesh Public Service Commission in Prayagraj, demanding the conduct of Provincial Civil Services Prelims and Review Officer and Assistant Review Officer examinations in one shift. Now, seeing the continuous massive protest of the students, the state government has deployed the rapid action force and the police personnel are present at the spot. Earlier, on 5th November, the UPPSC announced the RO-ARO preliminary examinations would be held in 3 shifts on December 22nd and 23rd, and the PCS examination will be held on December 7th and 8th in 2 shifts. On Sunday, Samajwadi Party President Akhilesh Yadav expressed support for the aspirants demanding examination on the same date, saying his party stood shoulder to shoulder with the students' legitimate demand. Deputy Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Krishna Prasad Maurya, has also advocated competent authorities to speak to their students to try and, solve this situation. But as we speak, thousands of these students are still protesting.
में पीसीएस और आरओ की परीक्षा को लेकर प्रयागराज में छात्रों ने एक बड़ा आंदोलन छेड़ा है। मैं इस वक्त आयोग के दफ्तर के बाहर हूं, जहां आप तस्वीरें देखिए। उत्तर प्रदेश लोक सेवा आयोग का यह दफ्तर है और यहां पर भारी संख्या में जो छात्र हैं वो छात्र मौजूद हैं, ड्रम पीट रहे हैं, थालियां बजा रहे हैं और आयोग से सिर्फ और सिर्फ एक मांग कर रहे हैं कि जो परीक्षा है वो एक दिन में हो जाए। क्या मांग है आप?
वन डे ओनली वन डे, नो नॉर्मलाइजेशन और वन डे वन शिफ्ट, मतलब एक दिन में ही एग्जाम होना चाहिए। अब कोई नॉर्मलाइजेशन मंजूर नहीं है, जब तक नोटिस नहीं तब तक हम लोग यहाँ से नहीं जाएंगे। हमें नोटिस चाहिए तभी हम यहाँ से हटेंगे।
यहीं बैठना है? हाँ? यहीं बैठे रहोगे?
यहीं बैठे रहेंगे जब तक नोटिस नहीं निकालेगी सरकार,
तब तक यहीं बैठे रहेंगे। यहाँ से वापस कोई नहीं जाएगा। नो नॉर्मलाइजेशन, वन डे वन शिफ्ट, किसी भी तरह को उसमें बिना नोटिस।
आपत्ति क्या है?
आपत्ति 2 दिन एग्जाम करवाने। सबसे बड़ी आपत्ति ये है कि क्वेश्चन का जो लेवल है उसको कौन सा टफ है कौन सा इजी है इसको निर्धारित करने कोई पैटर्न नहीं है। सिर्फ आपत्ति ये है और आयोग इसके माध्यम से अपनी मनमानी करना चाहता है। तो हमारी सिर्फ एक मांग है कि वन डे वन शिफ्ट, नो नॉर्मलाइजेशन, एक दिन में एग्जाम होना चाहिए बस।
अच्छा, इससे पहले जो एग्जाम हुए हैं वो एक दिन में होते थे, ये पहली बार है जब ये प्रयोग हो रहा है। क्या आप लोगों को पहले से जानकारी इसकी थी कि बाद में जानकारी?
नहीं, बाद में जानकारी हुई हम लोग को। इसके पहले कोई वो नहीं था, क्योंकि ये पुलिस का एग्जाम नहीं है, ये यूपीएससी पीसीएस का एग्जाम है। क्योंकि यहाँ पे एक पॉइंट नंबर से, एक नंबर से लड़के की 1-1.5 साल मेहनत चली जाती है। आप 10 नंबर का नॉर्मलाइजेशन करेंगे और 10 नंबर में 1 नंबर से हम लोग बाहर अगर होगा, क्या 1.5 साल हमारी कौन जिम्मेदारी लेगा? 1 नंबर की बात है, 1 पॉइंट की बात होती है। ये पुलिस और उसका एग्जाम नहीं है कि 1 लाख वैकेंसी आ रही, 90,000 वैकेंसी आ रही है, 220 वैकेंसियाँ हैं। हम लोग इतने साल पढ़ रहे हैं, 1 नंबर बाहर होंगे नॉर्मलाइजेशन में, हम इतना पढ़ रहे हैं कि नहीं पढ़ रहे हैं। और एक नॉर्मलाइजेशन करके आप बराबर कर देंगे सबको, क्या मतलब हम लोग को पढ़ने का?
तो देखिए, आपत्ति इनकी क्या है? आपत्ति ये है कि नॉर्मलाइजेशन नहीं होना चाहिए और नॉर्मलाइजेशन तभी नहीं होगा जब एक दिन में एक पाली में होगा। और इसी वजह से जो छात्र हैं, वन शिफ्ट वन एग्जाम, नो नॉर्मलाइजेशन, ये मांग है। और एक और जो यहाँ पे देखिए आप, उत्तर प्रदेश लोक सेवा आयोग यूपीपीसी 2024 आरओ 2023 की प्रारंभिक परीक्षा को लेकर के एक बड़ा पोस्टर। तो यहाँ ये जो छात्र हैं किसी भी हाल में आयोग को ये बात दबाव डालना चाहते हैं कि जो इनकी मांग है वो मानी जाए। और यही वजह है कि 24 घंटे से ज़्यादा का समय हो गया जब ये छात्र इसी तरह से यहाँ अड़े हुए हैं। जिसे जो मिला है, ये देखिए अपने घर से किस तरह से ये चम्मच और कटोरी लेकर के यहाँ पर पीट रहे हैं। और इन छात्रों की जो मांग है वो परीक्षा के पैटर्न को लेकर के है, क्योंकि अगर नॉर्मलाइजेशन होता है तो इन छात्रों का ये दावा है कि उसमें कौन सा प्रश्न आसान है और कौन सा मुश्किल, ये तय करना संभव नहीं होगा। और इसीलिए इनका अहित हो सकता है, ये दावा इन छात्रों का है। तो फिलहाल आयोग भी ये बात मानने को तैयार नहीं कि इन छात्रों की बात मानी जाएगी और ये छात्र भी आयोग की बात मानने को तैयार नहीं। क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
देखिए, आयोग छात्रों की परीक्षा लगातार ले रही है, धैर्य की परीक्षा ले गई लगातार। छात्र अपनी जायज मांगों के साथ 21 सितंबर की हम लोग ने ज्ञापन दिया था, उसके बावजूद भी आयोग छात्रों को परेशान करने के लिए ये तुलगकी फरमान जारी करती है, जिसमें छात्रों को नॉर्मलाइजेशन पे सौंपती है। सचिव जी ने जब 21 सितंबर को कहा था कि हम पूरे 75 जिलों में सेंटर बना के एक ही दिन में पेपर संपन्न कराएंगे, लेकिन उसके बावजूद भी 41 जिले को सेंटर बनाते हैं। क्या ये मानते हैं कि जो अन्य जिले में सेंटर नहीं बनाए गए वहाँ कोई सरकारी विद्यालय या डिग्री कॉलेज सरकारी नहीं है, कि वहाँ पर कानून व्यवस्था नहीं है? और कल डीएम साहब हम लोग को बरकराने आए थे। मैं आपके चैनल के माध्यम से बताना चाहता हूँ शासन और प्रशासन और आयोग दोनों को कि आप हमें बरकरार नहीं सकते हैं। आपको छात्रों की बात माननी पड़ेगी। हम डीएम साहब जो उनका काम है कि हम लोग की वार्ता वहाँ तक पहुँचाएं, लेकिन वो वार्ता नहीं पहुँचा रहे। हम लोग को बरकराने आए थे कल।
इस तरह से ये जो छात्र हैं, इन छात्रों की अपनी एक नाराजगी, अपनी एक मांग, और इस मांग को लेकर के छात्र फिलहाल प्रयागराज में आयोग के दफ्तर के बाहर धरने पर हैं।
Marathwada may be known for Maratha agitation, but it also has a very, very positive side, which is that it is almost like a pharma, fiber optics and breweries hub of the entire country. We had just one plant then, and today we are 5 and we are still hungry for more land and we are waiting for more expansion.
कारण सत्ता कोणाची पण आली, महाविकास आघाडीचे काय आले महायुतीचे काय आले, आम्हाला लढावं तर लागणारच.
जनता के दरबार में जा रहा हूँ, जनता के दरबार में न्याय मांग रहा हूँ.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 50 Pro, world's first AI-powered pro-grade camera.
And I swipe it there, पाऊँ rewards, मैं everywhere, कहीं से भी करूँ collect, spend करूँ direct.
Download any single ID partner app, link your card and earn reward with top brand.
Get it free with single ID.
NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is the top-most news platform in the country. Number 1 in both online and offline reach in India. Beating all its competition, NDTV stands for trust.
Hello and welcome to India Sense, where I speak with global opinion makers.
The United States has made a strategic decision over the last 20 years to move closer to India.
A $7 trillion economy seems a perfectly conceivable number.
If you want to be a national party, it's that you sort of accept the way the world is rather than want to endlessly hark back to how it was.
Modi is promoting the digitization of the economy, which is accelerating growth in the country.
I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president.
Donald triumphs. What does Trump's win mean for America, for the world, for the wars, and for India-US relations? Non-stop coverage on NDTV. Top analysts and voices from the ground. Extensive coverage on NDTV.
We reached an agreement on patrolling. We have gone back to where the situation was in 2020, and we can say with that the disengagement process with China, you can say, has been completed. The understanding, to my knowledge, is that we will be able to do the patrolling which we were doing in 2020.
तालियों के साथ हम स्वागत करेंगे आदरणीय मोदी जी का।
छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज की।
Corruption first, on the agenda and nation first.
घोषणा आणि जनतेचे पैसे लुटणं.
कट कमिशन आणि करप्शनला आमच्याकडे थारा नाही. त्यांचा परिवारवाद, आमचा महाराष्ट्रवाद.
महाराष्ट्रामध्ये 1,75,000 जागा रिक्त आहेत. मग का भरत नाही? राज्याची जनतेच्या घमाच्या पैशाची तिजोरी लुटण्यासाठी हे सरकार आहे.
पूर्वीच्या सरकारच्या काळामध्ये निधी देताना त्यांना असं वाटायचं की त्यांच्याच खिशातले पैसे चालले. शेतकऱ्यांना मोफत वीज देण्याचं काम आपल्या सरकारने सुरू केलं.
It's a web of frauds, calls, luring emails, threatening messages. Cyber frauds have cast their net wide and everyone is at risk. We track the victims, their horror stories as they get conned online, extorted and robbed of their hard-earned money. how to identify a cyber fraud, and how to stay cyber safe. What are your options? Fraud.con, only on NDTV 24/7.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of maximum cities.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's mega rally in Maharashtra as he takes the campaign trail forward. Prime Minister took a jibe at the MBA. He said MBA is travelling on unstable vehicle and can never form a stable government in Maharashtra.
महाअगाड़ी वाले जिस गाड़ी पर चल रहे हैं वह ऐसी गाड़ी है, न पहिए हैं, न ब्रेक है, और कौन चलाएगा इसके लिए मारम्मार है। ये अगाड़ी वाले कभी भी महाराष्ट्र को स्थिर सरकार नहीं दे सकते।
It was a super Tuesday or a thriller Tuesday for election poll campaign in Maharashtra. Rahul Gandhi was also in the poll-bound state. In fact, once again renewed his constitution jibe at Prime Minister Modi and said, why are farmers not getting fair price? Is it in constitution that poor should be trampled upon?
ये हिंदुस्तान का संविधान है, इसमें कहां लिखा है कि गरीब लोगों को दबाया जाना चाहिए, किसानों को सही दाम नहीं दिया जाना चाहिए? इसमें कहां लिखा है? हाँ, तो प्रधानमंत्री जी ने इस किताब को, मैं गारंटी लिख के कह रहा हूं, प्रधानमंत्री जी ने इस किताब को पढ़ा तक नहीं है। क्योंकि अगर प्रधानमंत्री ने यह किताब पढ़ी होती तो जो इस किताब के अंदर लिखा है उसकी रिस्पेक्ट करते।
Meanwhile, staying with Maharashtra amid the controversy over former Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thakere's checking of bag by the Election Commission. Now, the EC has clarified and has said that, they followed strict SOP. The bag, remember, was checked twice in 2 days. Now, EC sources are saying that we are ensuring level playing field, and similar issues were raised during the Lok Sabha elections as well.
Well, as far as reactions from EC officials are concerned, they say that they are simply following protocols, and this is part of the exercise that they conduct during elections. So therefore, they have to ensure fair elections to happen, which is why they conduct these routine examinations as far as leaders, from every party is concerned. So this is an SOP that they have to follow at this time of the year, is something that the EC officials have been telling us. Now, Uddhav Thakere's bag once again checked. In fact, today the checking happened in helipad in Latur, in a constituency in Latur, where he was once again going for campaigning. We can see in those visuals Uddhav Thakere, they're questioning the EC officials, asking for their identity and asking the purpose for which his bags are being repeatedly checked. Of course, he is having a conversation with the cops as well as EC officials there. Something similar happened yesterday as well. In fact, yesterday it was in Yavatmal that his bag as well as the chopper was checked by the election officials, at which time Uddhav Thakere once again took a video and asked the officials there as to why his belongings are being checked and whether EC officials actually check the belongings of other top leaders from the BJP, including Prime Minister Modi. Amit Shah also went on to ask whether state ministers such as Eknath Shinde or Deputy CM's bags ever get checked by EC officials. So in a way indicating that election commission, election officials work under the behest of the BJP. So yes, twice, the Uddhav Thakere's belongings, bags, chopper being checked by EC officials today in Latur, yesterday in Yavatmal, and Uddhav Thakere not really taking it lying down, taking a video of both these instances and asking certain questions as to why it is only the opposition leaders' belongings and bags and vehicles and choppers that get checked, and never that of Prime Ministers or of any of the BJP leaders for that matter. Of course, the Election Commission, as you pointed out, did come out with a clarification saying that this is an SOP that they have to follow for fairness as far as the electoral system is concerned, and that they do it, with leaders spanning across parties, and there is no unfairness or bias. This is the clarification and justification given by EC.
The BJP today doubled down against the Maharashtra Congress chief Nana Patole's abusive remarks targeting its leaders and described it as Congress frustration ahead of the assembly polls. BJP leader Kirit Somaya said the remarks proved that the Mahavikas Aghadi opposition alliance has gone from disappointment to dejection. Now campaigning for a candidate in Akola on Monday, Maharashtra Congress chief Nana Patole said the BJP has become arrogant and also used the word dog while in fact using an analogy which has irked the BJP.
मैं पूछना चाहता हूं, क्या अकोला जिले के ओबीसी के लोग आप बीजेपी को वोट करोगे जो तुम बोलते हैं? आप बीजेपी को बनाने का समय आ गया है। बीजेपी को बनाने का समय आ गया है। ये इतनी मस्ती में आ गए कि ये किसी को, अब ये तो भगवान हो गए ना, पहले देवेंद्र जी थे।
ये आपने जो बात कही है, जो कांग्रेस के अध्यक्ष ने बात कही है, कांग्रेस ने ही ओबीसी के साथ अन्याय किया है। कांग्रेस ने ओबीसी को वोट बैंक के रूप में इस्तेमाल किया है, कभी भी उनकी सुविधाओं की तरफ ध्यान नहीं दिया। शायद नाना पटोलकर जो कांग्रेस का चेहरा है, कांग्रेस ही है, जब वो कुछ बात बोलते हैं इस प्रकार का जो जहर उगल रहे हैं वो उनकी बौखलाहट का परिणाम है। वो हार मान चुके हैं, वो हार चुके हैं। ओबीसी समाज का सम्मान नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने जो दिया है, जो किया है, आज तक इतिहास में किसी ने नहीं किया।
NDTV is on the ground in Maharashtra to bring you the latest from the election-bound state, and we are meeting candidates from every political party. Now, meet the Mumbai candidate, in fact, NCP Sharad Pawar's Fahad Ahmed. He's the candidate from Anushakti Nagar. Fahad Ahmed versus Sana Malik. She's the daughter of Nawab Malik, and this is the battle of the Young Turks in this constituency.
Hello and welcome to NDTV. My name is Anuj Raite, and this is a special series where we talk to young candidates from Mumbai and try and understand their aspirations, their motivations ahead of the upcoming 2024 state assembly elections here in the state. And with me today is MVA's official candidate Fahad Ahmed. Fahad, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for doing this. I'll tell you one thing. You know, we recorded a similar episode with Milind Deora in Worli, and we did it in a
Is
cafe.
he young? He's a very old politician. He was a member of parliament.
He's been there for quite some time.
But yeah, don't snatch that credit from us because he's not. I'm not saying anything bad about him. But now he's not young.
Oh, okay, I'll probably give that to you. But the point being that when we were doing that interview with him, we did it in his favorite cafe. It's a Sadanand Cafe. It's a beautiful place in Worli.
It is.
And we're doing it outside a chai tapri stall. You are enjoying your lemon tea. I'm enjoying my chai. Do you think this symbolizes you?
Yeah, because we are like standing next to TISS, like hardly 1 minute away. So this tapri, especially this place, used to be my office when I was in the students' union, because we can't afford the office. We were having a protest for 127 days in the campus. So every person for strategy, what we called in politics chuha meetings.
Yeah.
Okay, so we used to do chuha meetings here. So earlier there used to be a biryani shop there.
Okay.
So that was my place where I'll come and eat. Okay, not only biryani, but they used to serve vegetarian as well. Because the moment I'll say biryani, because NDTV will run it, Musalman sirf khata hai non-veg. No. So sab kuch milta tha wahan pe. So yeah, this place has always been my office.
Tell me, you talked about your days in TISS. What I'm interested to know is, when we talk about India's political history, we've seen that a lot of leaders here who are active in today's politics have come from student politics, and there used to be a time when there used to be lateral entry from student politics to mainstream politics, as they like to call it. We see that in the last 15-20 years that number has gone down a little bit. And the prime example of it is of your very good friend Kanhaiya Kumar, who's tried his luck on a couple of occasions from different constituencies but hasn't worked out. What gives you the confidence to believe that you will succeed doing the same thing?
Look, Kanhaiya is my friend. I'll not talk about the things where he missed.
Yeah.
And we'll hope that in the next elections he will win. But this constituency is my identity in Mumbai. Okay. When I say it's my identity in Mumbai, because I lived here for last around 8-9 years. I came to Mumbai first time using this road only. मैं गोवंडी स्टेशन पे उतरा था और सीधे यहाँ आया था. तब से लेके आज तक मैं यहाँ रहता हूँ. और मजे की बात यह है कि अणुशक्ति नगर विधानसभा जब से बनी है तब से उनको लोकल आमदार नहीं मिला है.
Okay.
So there is a no, because Nawab Malik comes from Kurla.
Yeah.
So the previous MLAs also don't live here. So yeah, I mean I feel कि मैं यहाँ का हूँ, यहाँ के मुद्दों को समझता हूँ और यहाँ के मुद्दों को समझने के साथ साथ उनके सॉल्यूशंस को समझता हूँ. तो आई एम वेरी कॉन्फिडेंट दैट आई विल टेक फॉरवर्ड माई एजेंडा टू द पीपल. एंड लुक, द नेशनली एंड द स्टेट वाइज इफ यू विल सी, दे वांट टू डिवाइड पीपल. दे से कटेंगे तो बटेंगे तो कटेंगे. बट मैं भी कुछ बोलता हूँ, मैं ये कहता हूँ कि अगर हिंदू और मुसलमान बटेगा तो ये देश को काट देंगे. क्यों काट देंगे? इन्होंने पहले भी काटा है और ये फिर काट देंगे. तो अगर देश को बचाना है तो हिंदू मुसलमान को एक साथ आना है. ये बात करेंगे नफरत की, हमें बात करनी है मोहब्बत की. हम गांधीयन हैं, हम सोशलिस्ट हैं, हम जवाहरलाल नेहरू को मानने वाले हैं, हम लोग जो है राम मनोहर लोहिया जी को मानने वाले हैं. तो हम वो लोग हैं जो यकीन रखते हैं बातचीत करने पे, कम्युनिकेशन पे, अक्रॉस आइडियोलॉजीज. Whether you come from a different ideology, but I would love to talk to you, having a coffee, let's discuss ideas. If I am wrong, I will change my thoughts. But if you feel like this is not good for our country, because our country is not a country of one religion, one culture, one food. Our country is a what we call it, a rainbow. Our country is a rainbow. If you try to paint it in one color, you will do the worst thing with our country. So that I believe, yeah.
It's funny how you say that our country is not about one religion. The idea of oneness, basically, you're playing it down. But we are in the middle of a campaign which has been led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, by UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, and everyone in the BJP's camp, which goes like, हम एक है तो safe है.
But एक कौन है? इस देश का हर निवासी, हर नागरिक अगर एक है तो वो सही बोल रहे हैं. अगर वो, भाई संविधान क्या कहता है? देश का संविधान ये कहता है कि भारत में हम सब नागरिक हैं.
Let's cut across at this moment to Mumbai, where Home Minister Amit Shah is addressing a political rally. Listen in.
शिवाजी नगर से श्री सुरेश पाटिल जी और भांडुप से श्री अशोक पाटिल जी, और आज के कार्यक्रम में इतनी बड़ी संख्या में आए हुए प्यारे भाइयों, बहनों, माताओं और मेरे जिगर के टुकड़े जैसे युवा मित्रों, आप सभी को मेरा राम राम. सबसे भैया टीवी वाले अब बैठ जाओ, मैं यहीं रहकर खड़ा रहने वाला हूं. बैठ जाओ जरा, सेट कर बैठ जाइए भाई, आप भी बैठ जाइए. अरे बैठ जाओ यार, मैं जिद्दी टाइप का आदमी हूं, बाद में ही बोलूंगा. बैठ जाओ. सबसे पहले मैं सिद्धि विनायक जी के चरणों में मेरा प्रणाम कर मेरी बात की शुरुआत करता हूं. मुंबा देवी और महालक्ष्मी माता को भी प्रणाम कर मेरी बात की शुरुआत करता हूं. भाइयों बहनों, ये महाराष्ट्र की भूमि जहां से छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज ने पूरे देश को स्वराज, स्वधर्म और स्वभाषा का रास्ता दिखाया छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज, धर्म संरक्षक संभाजी महाराज, वीर सावरकर जी, तिलक महाराज, महात्मा फूले और डॉक्टर भीमराव अंबेडकर को भी प्रणाम कर मैं अपनी बात की शुरुआत करता हूं। भाइयों बहनों, मैं पूरे महाराष्ट्र में घूमकर आज घाटों पर आया हूं। मैं विदर्भ में भी गया, पश्चिम महाराष्ट्र में भी गया, उत्तर महाराष्ट्र में भी गया, कोंकण में भी गया और मुंबई भी एक बार आकर गया। मैं आज आपको महाराष्ट्र चुनाव का परिणाम बताना चाहता हूं। घाटकोर पर वालों, सुनना है क्या आपको? जरा जोर से बोले, सुनना है ना? तो मैं महाराष्ट्र की दीवारों पर बड़े बड़े अक्षरों से लिखा हुआ पढ़ पाता हूं, यहां महायुति की सरकार बनने जा रही है और अगाड़ी का सुपड़ा साफ होने वाला है। भाइयों बहनों, कुछ दिन पहले एक ही दिन मैंने भारतीय जनता पार्टी का संकल्प पत्र महाराष्ट्र की जनता के सामने रखा और उसी दिन खड़गे जी ने महाअघाड़ी का संकल्प पत्र, घोषणा पत्र जनता के सामने रखा। मैं आप सभी को बताने आया हूं, उसके कुछ दिन पहले ही खड़गे जी ने महाराष्ट्र कांग्रेस को कहा, वादे ऐसे करिए जो पूरे हो पाए, ऐसे वादे मत करिए कि जो पूरे न हो। अब मुझे बताओ, कांग्रेस के वादों पर कांग्रेस के राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष को भी भरोसा नहीं है। आपको है क्या? जरा जोर से बोलो, है क्या? और दूसरी ओर नरेंद्र मोदी जी का वादा होता है जो पत्थर पर लकीर होता है। भाइयों बहनों, मैं महाराष्ट्र की और मुंबई की घाटकों पर की जनता को कहकर जाता हूं कि मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में हमने जो जो वादे किए हैं वो सारे वादे समाप्त करने की मोदी की खुद की गारंटी है, मोदी जी की गारंटी है।
We're slipping into a short break at this moment. News and updates on the other side. Stay tuned.
With air travel in India booming, it's really all about infrastructure keeping up to the massive growth of India's airlines. And that's what this airport is all about. It's part of a process in the country to take into account the massive growth of air travel. When this particular airport, the Noida International Airport, becomes operational, in the first phase, it'll cater to at least 12 million passengers every year. Ultimately, perhaps a few decades down the road, it could become the largest airport of its kind in Asia.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 50 Pro, world's first AI-powered pro-grade camera.
request the Honorable Prime Minister to launch NDTV World and address the summit.
It was the grand launch of NDTV World by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. NDTV World, as he laid out his vision for the India century at the NDTV World Summit.
ऐसी सदी जिसमें भारत के प्रयासों से दुनिया में स्थिरता आए.
In the presence of those who are shaping our future.
मेरी तरफ से आपको ढेर सारी शुभकामनाएं हैं.
NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
NDTV proudly presents NDTV World Summit 2024, the India Century. I now request the Honorable Prime Minister to launch NDTV World and address the summit.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's inaugural session at the NDTV Summit outlined his vision for the India century, driven by aspirational India.
हमारा प्रयास होगा भारत की सेंचुरी सिर्फ भारत की नहीं बल्कि पूरी मानवता की जीत की सेंचुरी बने.
The summit brought together prominent global leaders, highlighting India's pivotal role on the world stage.
Not just Indians trusting India's leadership, but the global South especially trusting India's leadership.
Permanent seat on the UN Security Council is something that should be India's right.
Canada is concerned, I think there are some very specific issues. I think a lot of people know that.
AI is going to be one of the most important, drivers.
It's a very exciting time for India, Indian cinema as well at a global level.
NDTV World Summit was more than just a conversation. It was a confluence of ideas poised to shape our global future. Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you. NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is the topmost news platform in the country. Number one in both online and offline reach in India, beating all its competition. NDTV stands for trust.
Hello and welcome to India Sense, where I speak with global opinion makers.
The United States has made a strategic decision over the last 20 years to move closer to India.
Now, a $7 trillion economy seems a perfectly conceivable number.
If you want to be a national party, it's that you sort of accept the way the world is rather than want to endlessly hark back to how it was.
Modi is promoting the digitization of the economy.
All right, some important news coming in at this moment, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, this is the latest in the tussle between India and Pakistan over ICC Champions Trophy. Now, Pakistan says no to the hybrid model. This is the reports which are coming in, and ICC has warned Pakistan over the Champions Trophy stance. South Africa has been kept as a backup venue. In fact, remember earlier there were talks that half of the tournament to be played in Pakistan, half in UAE. Now some stern words have been spoken to the Pakistani side from the ICC. Let me go across to my colleague Rika, who is joining us with more detail. Rika, makes sense for all this. What does this mean? Is the Champions Trophy now the ICC is threatening to take it completely away from Pakistan?
Well, what we understand from the reports that are coming in at this hour is that Pakistan is giving ICC is giving a very clear message to Pakistan: have the tournament in a hybrid model, take your money, take your hosting rights, and that should be what you should really be asking for, and not be bargaining for India to get to your country, because India doesn't feel it is a right time politically and security-wise, it could be a moment for them to get to Pakistan. But you see, Pakistan is not very keen or not at all happy with that situation. Pakistan Cricket Board Chairman Mohsin Naqvi, who's also their Interior Minister, who's also Pakistan's Interior Minister, has discussed this with the government. As soon as they got to know from ICC that India is not travelling to Pakistan for the Champions Trophy, he took the matter to government. He said that we will wait on the government stance. And it seems, his version can be taken as government stance, that they don't want to play in a hybrid model. They don't want to have India's matches in Dubai and keep open the chance of shifting the final to Dubai if India reaches the final. So ICC at this point has said that if they are not open to a hybrid model, then the only other option to keep the tournament going is to shift it to South Africa. Of course, the story doesn't end there. We'll have to wait and see if Pakistan, will let go of it, if they will participate, if the tournament goes to South Africa or not. All those stories will unfold in time.
Thank you, Rika, for joining us with all those details. So that the future of the Champions Trophy, where it will happen, whether India will participate, Pakistan will participate, all at this moment hangs in balance. All right, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are slipping into a short break.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 50 Pro, world's first AI-powered pro-grade camera.
In a historic milestone, the Indian Army's Prachand light combat helicopter successfully conducted high-altitude fighting designed for precision in extreme terrains. Prachand performance reinforces India's capability in high-altitude operations.
I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president.
Donald triumphs. What does Trump's win mean for America, for the world, for the wars, and for India-US relations? Non-stop coverage on NDTV. Top analysts and voices from the ground. Extensive coverage on NDTV.
We reached an agreement on patrolling. We have gone back to where the situation was in 2020, and we can say with that the disengagement process with China, you can say, has been completed. The understanding, to my knowledge, is that we will be able to do the patrolling which we were doing in 2020.
घोषणा आणि जनतेचे पैसे लुटणं.
कट कमिशन आणि करप्शनला आमच्याकडे थारा नाही. त्यांचा परिवारवाद आमचा
महाराष्ट्रामध्ये 1,75,000 जागा रिक्त पण का भरत नाही? राज्याची जनतेच्या घमाच्या पैशाची तिजोरी लुटण्यासाठी हे सरकार आहे.
पूर्वीच्या सरकारच्या काळामध्ये निधी देताना त्यांना असं वाटायचं की त्यांच्याच खिशातले पैसे चालले. शेतकऱ्यांना मोफत वीज देण्याचं काम आपल्या सरकारने सुरू केलं.
It's a web of frauds, calls, luring emails, threatening messages. Cyber frauds have cast their net wide and everyone is at risk. We track the victims, their horror stories as they get conned online, extorted and robbed of their hard-earned money. How to identify a cyber fraud and how to stay cyber safe. What are your options? Fraud.con. Only on NDTV 24/7.
I've been reporting
reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
India's IT capital is always buzz. It's literally a city that never sleeps.
And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
I now request the Honorable Prime Minister to launch NDTV World and address the summit.
Hello and welcome to the Southern View. I'm Veeraraga. Lots lined up on the show this evening, including our special focus on the suspension of 2 young Kerala IAS officers for allegedly breaking discipline on social media. But first, let's take you through the headlines that we're tracking this hour. Starting with India-Pak diplomatic face-off over cricket and other sports intensifies. The blind T20 cricket team is denied permission to travel to Pakistan and no permission for Pakistan to play Scrabble in India. Indo-Pak sports friction escalates. Telangana minister tells NDTV the government will crack down on those who attacked the collector of Vikrabad, accuses the BRS of fomenting trouble, and Defence Chief Minister Revanth Reddy on accusations of awarding contracts to his relatives. After the threat, security is tightened for Shah Rukh and Salman Khan, the accused in the threat case, to be brought to Mumbai. And in Karnataka, FIRs are filed against producer of the Yash starrer Toxic for cutting forest trees without permission. FIRs also against general managers of HMT and Canara Bank. Well, but first up this evening, the focus on the controversy in Kerala. The Kerala government suspending 2 IAS officers for allegedly breaking discipline on social media. The first case is that of a young IAS officer, N. Prashant, who was Special Secretary in the Agriculture Department and had put out a Facebook post criticizing a superior officer of orchestrating news reports against him, popularly called Collector Bro on social media by his fans. Prashant was placed under suspension after a report of the Chief Secretary. He says he was a whistleblower instead. In the other case, it's a 2013 batch IAS officer who was Director of Industries, Gopalakrishnan. He was suspended for creating a WhatsApp group called, and I quote, Mallu Hindu Officers. Gopalakrishnan says his phone was hacked and he did not create the allegedly religious group, but in the absence of evidence to prove hacking, he was suspended as well. So is the action, remember, there are 2 very, very different cases, breaking of discipline and was a suspension warranted? Well, joining us this evening is the officer at the center of the controversy, which is Mr. N. Prashant himself, Collector Bro. Prashant, thanks very much for speaking live to us here on NDTV. The action that's been taken against you and the reason given is that you have broken discipline by speaking about a superior officer. When young officers start posting comments, including comments like he's a psychopath on a senior officer, it leads to chaos. How do you defend yourself?
Well, first of all, I think the whole thing is being trivialized by saying that this is about posting something on the social media. This is much more. See, I'm defending my right to write on files. See, an officer, especially in the secretariat, we are paid to write on files. We write our opinion on files. Now, here we had a very interesting scenario where I've been punished for writing my opinion on the file. And of course, this happened almost a year back, and it was very difficult to get along with this senior officer. And I had requested the chief secretary and moved out of that department. Now, after almost a year, suddenly I find that certain allegations have been cooked up by this particular officer himself in collaboration with the other officer whom you named, Mr. Gopalakrishnan. So, Dr. Jayatalik and these two officers, because it's all already on record. That's why I'm telling it very confidently. The documents that this officer had submitted to the government have already been proven to be forged or complete with falsehood. Now, after that, what remedy do I have? The thing is, for almost a year, I had taken up this issue, I had complained, I had put it on record. Why we are not having a fair contagion, why I'm not able to work properly. You need a fair atmosphere to write your own opinion. I mean, that's why you're paid. Yeah.
So, Prashant, what you're saying is that you followed due process, you raised the issues. What you're saying is that you followed due process, and after being frustrated with the system not responding to your complaints and not redressing the issues that you were facing, that is when you posted. You feel that this is a case of victimization. Am I correct?
It's even worse because I did not find any remedy. After that, I requested the chief secretary to be shifted out of that department. I got shifted to another department where I'm, very comfortably doing my work. And suddenly, one fine day, I find that certain news items have been planted by these officers to victimize me. And I could very easily prove on public forum that these are forged documents. Just imagine a senior officer going to the extent of creating false documents against a junior officer. I mean, where do I get justice? Because I have already raised the issue of victimization by this particular office, and there are lots of other officers also within the secretariat who have come out openly about this particular officer. Now, if I'm not getting a remedy, and why are we discussing this right now? It's only because I spoke out. I mean, why should I be gagged? And one thing I think which we all of us should clearly understand is my conduct rules, All India Service conduct rules, restrict my speech only to the extent of not criticizing the government and not criticizing any government policy. Other than that, I don't find any reason why I should be gagged from speaking out the truth. Because the Article 19(1)(a) of the Constitution guarantees that for every citizen, I am also a citizen of India and I am a law graduate, so I know where my rights are.
You're raising an extremely important point of law in terms of bureaucrats. We'll discuss that further, but I want to ask you this. Do you have hope that you will be your suspension perhaps will be revoked and you will go back to the services? What's your road ahead? Because usually officers like you, young officers who've taken on the system, end up walking out of the system. Do you believe that you will be back in the system? What's the sense you're getting given that the confrontation has come to this situation at the moment?
See, I have written this exam. I've taken pains to clear this exam and come into the service, and I love the service. And over the last 17, 18 years, it has been so fulfilling. So I am not going to get frustrated by these kind of things. I believe in the rule of law. As I said, I am a law graduate, and I think the Constitution is paramount. Constitution shall prevail. There might be, procedural issues. There might be people who don't respect law in the system. There might be unfairness. But then there are occasions where you speak out and try to find a solution. I'm just doing that. I'm just highlighting the issues in the public so that there is some pressure. Okay. And I think as a whistleblower, I'm entitled to protection.
Okay. You're saying as a whistleblower, you're entitled to protection. Prashant, stay with us because we also have with us this evening a former IAS officer, Rangarajan, who quit the services and decided to take up social causes and now coaches IAS aspirants as well. And also with us is a very senior former IAS officer, former Chief Secretary of New Delhi, Mr. Umesh Sehgal. Before I go to our other two guests, a very, very quick question to you, Prashant. Is there a sense of rethink? Could you have used different languages? Is there a sense that maybe I should have done this differently at all? Or are you absolutely firm on your conviction on what you have done and how you have expressed your point of view about a senior officer?
I actually thank you for asking that question.
You're saying you're completely confident of what you've done.
Large-scale No, I'll just explain that. There's a lot of misinformation being spread through powerful people. I mean, these are all really powerful people. What are they trying to spread? That I use some disparaging words or bad words or I abuse. No, that's not correct. See, I made a very factual statement on the reality, what is there. I mean, with the documents, whatever is there, I've cleared my case already about the allegations that he had raised through a forged document. After that, there were lots of comments below my post where someone suggested, okay, who is the guy who has been leaking these reports? See, someone prepares a report, submits to the Chief Minister's office, a report against an officer. How can that get leaked to a media house? Either the person who has prepared it has to leak it, or it has to go from the CM's office. So, I mean, it's very clear from where this went out. Now, there is a usage in Malayalam, Madambalile Chittarogi, which is actually a wording in a very famous movie called Manichitrathai, which was remade into Bhool Bhulaiya, if you would remember. So this is the usage, idioms and phrases, as they say. You can't take out one word out of it. Chittarogi means a madman or a mental case. Suddenly you are accusing that I've called him a mental or a nutcase, which is totally untrue. These are the ways you create a narrative and shift the argument, shift the whole discussion from the real discussion. The real point is I'm being victimized for speaking my mind, not even speaking my mind. I never spoke my mind in the public. I wrote my opinion on file. Is there no protection for a civil servant to write his opinion on the file?
Prashant, you're making an important point. You're saying there was a concerted effort, a narrative to build a narrative to victimize you. Mr. Rangarajan as well as Umesh Sehgal. Mr. Umesh Sehgal, first to you, Mr. Sehgal, very quickly as a senior IAS officer, how would you view a case of this nature? There are two different cases in Kerala. One is of an IAS officer who's created a WhatsApp group which was controversial and he has been suspended. And here we have another young IAS officer who says he's being victimized because he dared to speak out. Quick response from you, Mr. Sehgal, first.
Have you asked me? Hello, have you asked me?
Yes, Mr. Sehgal, please go ahead.
Now, there are two issues involved here. Number one is the fact that a disciplinary action, whether it is called for or not. The second one is whether it leads to suspension of the officer or not. As far as suspension is concerned, there is a very clear directive of the government that suspension is the last resort. And we should resort to that only if no other alternative is possible. And the alternative is that you give him another posting. You give him a posting in which the similar situation will not arise. Now here the officer is saying that he did ask for another posting. So I think in prima facie, the suspension itself is not justified. Now, as far as the disciplinary action is concerned, now there are two versions. The version is that I wrote it on the file only. I did not make it public. There must be a second version saying that he himself must have made it public. Now, if he has not made it public, and if he has just made a complaint on the file, I don't think there is anything wrong with that. And if you can make any complaint on the file, and you have a right to do that, because there are many sources, many ways that your complaints can be redressed. And courts are not really the only resort, that every officer should go to court. I go to the higher officers trying to seek justice. So here is an officer trying to seek justice. Now, as the officer claims that he did not release it to the press, but it does appear in the press. Now, here, there should be a proper inquiry as to who leaked this report to the press. If this officer has not leaked the report to the press, I don't think any action against him whatsoever is justified. And it is just giving a very wrong message to the junior officers that you have to just carry out instructions of senior officers without any looking into it. After all, I have to uphold the law as well. I also have to uphold the constitution. Just because I am junior doesn't mean that I'll now carry out any instructions that come to me. So I think it is an officer's right to protest on the file. But to then leak it to the press is totally wrong.
That's a very important
if
point
he has leaked it to the press, and if there is any evidence to show that.
You've made your point very clear, sir. Rangarajan, how would you see this? You're somebody who's been in the service. You've seen it now from the outside as well. How do you see this case? And is there an advice or counsel that you'd like to share for Prashant?
No, so thanks for having me here. And as the senior officer Sehgal sir has already put it, I think Prashant has made his point and we have heard it. And so, the fundamental rule is audi altum partem. So, there will be another side to the story. So that needs to be weighed before the final decision or the correctness of the action can be looked at. But yeah, just a couple of points or 2-3 points which I just want to quickly make. One is, of course, Prashant talked about the fundamental right to speech and expression under Article 19. Of course, yes, though it's not an absolute right, and it is subject to, reasonable restrictions. And more importantly, Article 309 talks about civil service conduct rules. And, there is one blanket rule which talks about the officer behaving in a way which is unbecoming of an officer. So, that is a very blanket statement which can be interpreted either way. So, there will be reasons why the government has taken the decision that it has taken. But having said that, I think, Prashant has very clearly said what he felt he has done. But of course, the other senior officer will have his own version of the story. So, I just hope that there is a fair hearing, to ensure that nobody is punished in a wrongful manner, and that includes Prashant and the other officer, Gopalakrishnan, who has been suspended for allegedly creating a WhatsApp group. He has claimed that his phone was hacked, but there are reports that that was not the case. Again, but the fact is, this has to be inquired into properly, because all said and done, we are a secular country and there is no religion for the state, and the officers represent the state, and any action of the officer which goes against that spirit can be seen as unbecoming of an officer. So that is something which needs to be inquired into.
That's
so,
true. There are two different. So there are two different cases. You're making a very important point. There is a counter viewpoint as well. Obviously, Prashant, very briefly, given that this is one side of the story, the government side of the story is that there was a report by the Chief Secretary based on which the action was taken after complete and thorough investigation. Given that, what is your immediate next step? Obviously, you could challenge it before the administrative tribunal. That's possibly the only option left, I think.
Audi altum partem is the basic idea of natural justice. Was I heard? That is something to be answered. See, nothing has been asked from me. No input has been taken from me. One fine day, I am just suspended. For what? For a random comment on Facebook. Now, is that the real unbecoming nature of an officer? Or do you feel that an officer manipulating the record to spoil the career of a junior by writing wrong things, factually incorrect things, and then he gets exposed publicly just because I had the guts to go out in the public? Now the documents are there which clearly show that whatever he had written was totally wrong. Now despite that, I get punished for exposing the truth. Now where is justice?
No, I completely agree with
So
you
you're
on the
saying you've got
principle that whether it's a harsher, I mean, technically though, but suspension definitely has a taboo attached to it, and it is an action
we have
that has
very
been
little time left, so very brief.
Yeah, just one
Mr.
final.
Sehgal, very quickly, do you have an advice for your young officers here? Very quickly, last word to you.
You asked me?
Veera, can I also have one point? Can I just make one point, Veera?
Yes, please go ahead. Please go ahead. No,
Yeah. So just one point which I want to say here. One of the traits which a civil servant is required to have, is anonymity, right? And of course, in this current day and age, people like Prashant, the way they post things, and it motivates a lot of youngsters to get into the service and do a lot of good things. But I would like to just register here. There are good things that come out of exposing and publishing things in the.
Quickly, Rangarajan, please. We are completely running out of time here.
Yeah. So but I'm equally aware of a lot of officers from my own batch and seniors and juniors who do great service being anonymous.
Right. Thanks very much for making those points. Unfortunately, we couldn't get that last point from Mr. Sehgal in because of technical issues. But thank you, Prashant, as well for joining us and putting across your point of view. Obviously, there's another officer, Mr. Gopalakrishnan, who has also been suspended for creating a WhatsApp group, which is a different allegation against him. We'll keep a close watch of developments here, but perhaps it gives us a peek into the insides of the bureaucracy, an important issue to be addressed. But thank you all for joining us. But moving forward now to Telangana, the police have taken at least 55 people into custody after they allegedly attacked a team led by the collector in Vikarabad district on Monday. Collector Pratik Jain, the additional collector, and other teams had reportedly gone to get people's opinion on a proposed land acquisition for a pharma project, but were asked to shift to another location from the planned one where they were attacked. The area falls in Chief Minister Revanth Reddy's Kodangal Assembly constituency, and the Bharatiya Rashtriya Samiti has been accusing the Chief Minister of acquiring the land and clearing the project to benefit one of his relatives. The Congress is accusing the BRS of orchestrating the protests and attacking the collector for political mileage. Senior Minister in the Revanth Reddy cabinet, Sridhar Babu, spoke exclusively to NDTV's Uma Sudhir.
An incident in Vikarabad district of Telangana that has caused a little bit of concern because it falls into the Chief Minister's constituency. I have with me Senior Minister Mr. Sridhar Babu. The attack, should I say, by the villagers on the collector's team. The collector has personally said he was not attacked, but the visuals seem to suggest that there was a lot of tension, stone pelting, and canes were used as well. What is happening?
No, basically our government has taken this very seriously. And we have ordered for an inquiry, proper inquiry, thorough inquiry out. And we see political conspiracy behind it. Over a period of 10 months, what we have seen, what we have witnessed, any time government is coming forward with some developmental work or the welfare scheme, our opponent party, especially the TRS, is trying to obstruct, is trying to create some problem. Whoever are behind the conspiracy, we will take them to task. And after the thorough inquiry has been done by the IG, we will see that they are thoroughly punished too, because it's the matter concerning about administration. And our collector, a district magistrate and a collector, and also a senior officer, and many other officers, and their cars and their vehicles have been damaged. So government will take it very seriously.
Just one other issue that the BRS working president spoke about in Delhi, where he said that in the Amrit scheme there is a scam and that there is an allocation of a tender to a relative of the chief minister, referring to the brother-in-law of the chief minister, and saying that Sobha Constructions is actually a relative of the chief minister. Isn't that a point of conflict? And under the PCA also, he's appealing to the union minister.
No, I don't think so. There is any iota of element involves. The conflict of interest would be there. And when some sort of issue takes place, when it goes against the norms and procedures, against the tender, definitely respond to scrutiny. So much of scrutiny takes place before the tender will be given, right? So scrutiny after it's been done, whether it goes to X, Y, Z, nobody knows. For example, if it comes to Y or Z, who may be distantly or not related to, or a suffix or prefix ascribes to Honorable CM, doesn't mean that he is related. If somebody is related, if they have all the capacities and capabilities and eligibility, which doesn't come under conflict of interest, they may be eligible to contest in the current tender and take the tender too. So this is absolutely ridiculous. This is totally political.
He's saying, in fact, that company doesn't have the credibility because it doesn't have the financial strength, nor the technical expertise, whereas the first person in that tender, he has said that he's only going to be executing 20% of the project.
No, this is absolutely wrong, and I strongly refute it. Absolutely not. Anybody who, the officers working over there, the engineers who would be seeing the tenders, who would be vetting out the tenders, need not stake their job for some sake of one person or two persons, or if somebody says it so. So that is absolutely ridiculous.
Well, that's all we have time for on the Southern View this evening. News and updates continue right here on NDTV. Thanks for watching.
Marathwada may be known for Maratha agitation, but it also has a very, very positive side, which is that it is almost like a farmer, fiber optics and breweries hub of the entire country. We had just one plant then, and today we are 5, and we are still hungry for more land, and we are waiting for more expansion.
कारण सत्ता कोणाची पण आली, महाविकास आघाडीची काय आली, महायुतीची काय आली, आम्हाला लढावं तर लागणारच.
जनता के दरबार में जा रहा हूं, जनता के दरबार में न्याय मांग रहा हूं.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 50 Pro, world's first AI-powered pro-grade camera.
NDTV proudly presents NDTV World Summit 2024, the India Century. I now request the Honorable Prime Minister to launch NDTV World and address the summit.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's inaugural session at the NDTV Summit outlined his vision for the India Century, driven by aspirational India.
हमारा प्रयास होगा भारत की सेंचुरी सिर्फ भारत की नहीं बल्कि पूरी मानवता की जीत की सेंचुरी बने.
The summit brought together prominent global leaders, highlighting India's pivotal role on the world stage.
Not just Indians trusting India's leadership, but the global South especially trusting India's leadership.
Permanent seat on the UN Security Council is something that should be India's right.
Canada is concerned, I think there are some very specific issues. I think a lot of people know that.
AI is going to be one of the most important, drivers.
It's a very exciting time for India, Indian cinema as well at a global level.
NDTV World Summit was more than just a conversation. It was a confluence of ideas poised to shape our global future. Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. you can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you. NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is the topmost news platform in the country. Number 1 in both online and offline reach in India. Beating all its competition, NDTV stands for trust.
Hello and welcome to India Sense, where I speak with global opinion makers.
The United States has made a strategic decision over the last 20 years to move closer to India.
Now, a $7 trillion economy seems a perfectly conceivable number.
If you want to be a national party, it's that you sort of accept the way the world is rather than want to endlessly hark back to how it was.
Modi is promoting the digitization of the economy, which is accelerating growth in the country.
I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president.
Donald triumphs. What does Trump's win mean for America, for the world, for the wars, and for India-US relations? Non-stop coverage on NDTV. Top analysts and voices from the ground. Extensive coverage on NDTV.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching NDTV. Maharashtra polling date is getting closer, and leading the Mahayuti's battle against the opposition Mahavikas Aghadi in this high-stakes battle this time is, as always, Prime Minister Narendra Modi. In fact, the Prime Minister was in eastern Vidarbha today and also in western Maharashtra, where he launched a scathing attack on the opposition. In fact, he called the Mahavikas Aghadi the biggest khiladi in corruption. In fact, he also alleged that the alliance is an expert in hampering development and that the Congress party has a double PhD when it comes to stalling development. He said that the BJP-led Mahayuti will retain power in Maharashtra with a massive majority and that the ruling alliance is the only one that is capable of bringing more development to the state of Maharashtra. Now, we are talking about a state that holds the top spot when it comes to attracting investments. In fact, the NDA has prided itself on infra push in Maharashtra, but the opposition has also said that the growth hasn't been inclusive. Now, who has delivered better when it comes to development? That is the question we asked today. Before I bring in my guests and also my colleague Radhika, let's listen into what the Prime Minister said today.
ये महाअगाड़ी वाले जिस गाड़ी पर चल रहे हैं वो ऐसी गाड़ी है, न पहिए हैं, न ब्रेक है, और कौन चलाएगा इसके लिए मारम्मार है। ये अगाड़ी वाले कभी भी महाराष्ट्र को स्थिर सरकार नहीं दे सकते। अगाड़ी वालों ने केवल विकास पर ब्रेक लगाने में पीएचडी कर दी है। कामों को अटकाना, लटकाना और भटकाना, ये कांग्रेस वाले तो इसमें डबल पीएचडी है, एक्सपर्ट है।
ये हिंदुस्तान का संविधान है, इसमें कहां लिखा है कि गरीब लोगों को दबाया जाना चाहिए, किसानों को सही दाम नहीं दिया जाना चाहिए? इसमें कहां लिखा है? हाँ, तो प्रधानमंत्री जी ने इस किताब को, मैं गारंटी लिख के कह रहा हूं, प्रधानमंत्री जी ने इस किताब को पढ़ा तक नहीं है। क्योंकि अगर प्रधानमंत्री ने यह किताब पढ़ी होती
तो जो इस किताब के अंदर लिखा है उसकी रिस्पेक्ट करते।
My colleague Radhika joins us with more details on this. Radhika, the Prime Minister has been on a spree of giving out slogans that in some ways are becoming central to the Mahayuti's campaign. A few days ago, he said that ek rahenge to safe rahenge. And today he has come up with this thing that agadi khiladi hai bhrashtachar ke. So clearly, you know, there seems to be a lot more focus on targeted groups here. He is clearly focusing on the fact that the agadi has been criticized enough of stalling development, specifically when it comes to the state of Maharashtra. Tell us, what are the big takeaways from the Prime Minister's rallies today, and also the importance of his the locations, because Chandrapur, Sholapur and also Pune.
That's right. Poll battle certainly heating up in Maharashtra, and it has reached its crescendo because it's just 1 week away from elections in the state. And of course, attacks and counterattacks we're witnessing over the last several weeks. And this is not the first rally as far as Prime Minister Modi, or for that matter, Rahul Gandhi or Amit Shah are concerned. But all top guns of the BJP, of the Congress party, are in multiple regions in the state of Maharashtra. Today, of course, Vidarbha is in focus. As far as the regions that Prime Minister Modi visited, agrarian distress at its peak, which is why both the Prime Minister Modi as well as Rahul Gandhi, who were in the eastern Vidarbha regions, did speak directly to the farmers, both of them speaking about the schemes that they have launched over the last several years and the schemes that they will be launching, especially in the sugarcane belt and for cotton farmers in the days to come. Of course, farmer distress is something that has been the central focus point as far as these elections are concerned. But more than that, it is the constitution, caste that have been at the center of it all. Constitution, caste, and of course development work that has played the center stage, that has taken the center stage when it comes to be Prime Minister Modi, Rahul Gandhi or Amit Shah. Of course, Prime Minister Modi there targeting MVA, saying they have only stalled development projects. They have double PhD in blocking development project, and also going on to directly target Congress party once again, saying they've been only playing divisive politics. They never really bothered to bring development or welfare for Adivasis, the tribals, the Dalits or the backward communities, and the Congress party just wants to weaken the tribals. This is something the Prime Minister reiterated once again today in Chimur as well as in Sholapur. Of course, development plank is something that Mahayuti is heavily riding on. Of course, Prime Minister Modi also speaking about Ladki Behan scheme, how only Mahayuti government had been launching multiple schemes, not just for farmers, but for the women and, of course, for the youth of the state of Maharashtra, which the Congress party, or rather the MVA, had been trying to stall. Of course, counterattack by Rahul Gandhi. Once again, he is, stressing on constitution, how constitution had been in danger, is in danger, how the BJP has not, Prime Minister Modi has not read the constitution, and therefore, this is BJP and RSS trying to destroy the constitution, something that worked for the Congress party, particularly the MVA, during Lok Sabha elections. Not really sure whether this rhetoric will work once again. But yes, attacks and counterattacks going on. Amit Shah currently in Ghatkopar trying to woo the voters there. So he is in Mumbai today. And yes, as you mentioned, political discourse certainly becoming sharper here as we inch closer to elections in the state of Maharashtra.
Thank you, Radhika. Even as you speak, the Prime Minister is in Pune, the land of Peshwas, and there he is speaking. This is in fact his third rally today. He has already addressed rallies in Chandrapur, in eastern Vidarbha, and of course in Sholapur, and in western Maharashtra, now in Pune. Remember, this is part of the state where it is NCP led by Sharad Pawar versus NCP led by Ajit Pawar. That is the battle that is in the spotlight in this part of the state. And of course, BJP also has a lot of Maratha leaders. In fact, the MOS Civil Aviation, Mullidhar Mohol himself comes from Pune to talk about whose narrative is going to click and who has really delivered when it comes to development. We have with us Siddharth Yadav, who comes from the BJP. We have Matthew Anthony from the Congress party, and we have author and senior journalist Rohit Chandavarkar. Thank you all of you for joining me on this show. To you, Matthew, first, Maharashtra has secured the highest FDI in India for the second consecutive time. These are numbers from September.
Now, Maharashtra has held this top spot in FDI for the past 2 years. It has even surpassed Gujarat and even Karnataka. Karnataka, in fact, is a distant second. Don't you think that there could be some credit that could be given to the alliance that they've managed this despite all the political uncertainties that we talk about?
Vasudha, good evening. And I would like to counter it by saying that you have seen the GDP report where it states that the Maharashtra GDP has come down from 15.5% to 13.3%. And the poverty levels in Maharashtra is close to say around 2.6 crores of people are under poverty. And the unemployment ratio is high. The farmers' distress is very high. 8,000 farmers committed suicide and 566 farmers committed suicide in the last 6 months in the Amravati district alone. And now we have businesses moving out of Maharashtra to Gujarat. The gift city has not come to Mumbai, which is the financial capital of India, but it has gone to Gujarat. The diamond bosses, which is well established in Maharashtra and Mumbai, which has been taken out to Gujarat. And now people are coming back here. Now, how are you saying that Maharashtra is flourishing when you have a farmer's distress? Soybean, which was at 10,000 rupees a quintal, is now at 3,500. The onion exporters of Maharashtra has got a ban on their onion exports, whereas Gujarat exporters have got a special provision to export them. So how can you claim that Maharashtra is winning? Where is the employment being generated in Maharashtra?
Okay,
that's exactly the problem in Maharashtra.
So, Matthew, that is an important question. I'll go to Siddharth for this, but let's also listen into what the Prime Minister is saying. He's making some very important points in Pune. Just for a bit, let's listen into what the Prime Minister is trying to highlight in his rally in Pune.
की लिस्ट में हमारा महाराष्ट्र सबसे ऊपर है। पुणे को
समुदाय की कट्टरता हो, दलों से
इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स और आईटी क्षेत्रों में आया तो यहां नई सीटें जोड़ी है। अब हमने तय किया है कि आने वाले 5 सालों में मेडिकल की 75,000 नई सीटें और जोड़ी जाएगी। इससे भी मिडिल क्लास के बच्चों का बहुत पैसा बचेगा, उन्हें पढ़ने के लिए बाहर नहीं जाना पड़ेगा। साथियों, पुणे, ये मेरा पुणे तो स्टार्टअप्स का हब है। हाल में हमने स्टार्टअप्स को बढ़ावा देने के लिए बहुत सारे कदम उठाए। हमने स्पेस स्टार्टअप्स के लिए 1,000 करोड़ रुपए का स्पेशल फंड बनाने का निर्णय लिया है। जो युवा साथी रिसर्च में जाना चाहते हैं, उनके लिए भी एक बहुत बड़ा रिसर्च फंड हमने बनाया है। नौजवानों को नौकरियां मिले, इसके लिए हमने विशेष पीएम पैकेज घोषित किया है। इसके तहत बड़ी-बड़ी कंपनियों में इंटर्नशिप की योजना शुरू भी हो चुकी है। कंपनियों में पहली जॉब पर प्रोत्साहन देने का काम भी हमारी सरकार कर रही है।
Okay, that's the Prime Minister there addressing a rally in Pune. Siddharth, you heard what Matthew had to say. Clearly, there is polarity when it comes to big infrastructure projects and development, and also there are farmer issues which also the state reflected in the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. How confident is the party of actually countering something like that? Because majority of India is still, at least rural or urban, and these issues do matter a lot. Okay, Siddharth, you have to unmute yourself.
Good evening, Vasudha. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
My apologies for that. Good evening to all your viewers. Vasudha, I think in the age of 21st century, data speaks for a lot, and such things cannot be hidden with data. Today, Maharashtra is the leading state in our country, #1 in the share of the GDP in our country. It has crossed the 40,000 crore mark in its share of GDP. It's 13% of the country's share and #1 and leading state. We saw the recent, the annual budget also, and we saw that the maximum number of projects and the maximum share of expenditure was given to the state of Maharashtra. Now, when we see that, when we see a booming state, a state which is, generating employment, a state which is giving more and more opportunities, a state which is hosting the maximum number of startups, that can also be reflected by the people, and as their aspirations are addressed. When it comes down to the farmers' issues or issues which concern, the farming community, I think the Congress party actually needs to do a comparison of what is being happening in the states that they do and the state of Maharashtra. What has happened in Karnataka? 1,200 farmers committed suicide after the Congress party took over. What happened in the other states where Congress is there? It is clearly, and now the people of the country can very clearly understand that it is only the Bharatiya Janata Party and the NDA Alliance governments that can actually deliver on the promises that they do. And the Congress party always has to backtrack, because what has happened in Himachal, what has happened in Karnataka cannot be forgotten by the people.
That's a comparison. Rohit, Maharashtra, we also know, suffered from some lack of political stability in the last few years. Specifically, we saw a lot of changes in political dynamics. Elections haven't happened in major urban bodies, Pune, Mumbai. How do you see business? Has it been as usual for entrepreneurs, small and big? And also when it comes to infra projects, this whole narrative that development is driven because infra projects flourish and that MVA is only stalling development. Is that something that actually resonates with people of the state?
Vasudha, as we speak and as we are, doing this show, I have one eye on the Prime Minister's speech that is happening in Pune, my home city, right now, and I'm listening to it since last 25 minutes or so. And I think, he's talking a lot about infrastructure and investment and all the economic issues. Before coming here to this city, Prime Minister was in Solapur, and I heard him talking about ethanol production and sugarcane and, helping sugarcane farmers, etc. In Pune, he's talking about the 11,000 crore Pune-Solapur highway expansion, the 6,000 crore missing link that is going to be built on the Pune-Mumbai Expressway. And he's speaking about 8,000 crore rupee ring road that is going to come up around Pune city. So he's speaking a lot about startups, about IT sector, about automobile sector in Pune, helping them with funds, and then talking about all these economic issues and saying that during Mahavikas Aghadi's regime, previous regime in Maharashtra, all that was done was blocking of these projects, metro projects and other projects. So the PM today is speaking a lot and focusing a lot on infra projects and investment and economic issues. Last few days in Maharashtra, we saw a debate happening around Hindutva and, that batenge or batenge to katenge kind of slogans and all of that. And Devendra Fadnavis also speaking on Hindutva and other things. Suddenly, today onwards, I think the focus is on investment infrastructure. I see a lot of changes happening in Pune, Western Maharashtra, all these places in terms of hard infrastructure. In terms of highway expansion, metro coming in Pune, many other things I can quote here, but lack of time, I can't list everything. On the other side, the opposition is alleging that it is the soft infrastructure that is suffering. Educational institutes are not expanding fast enough. Hospitals for public hospitals are not, coming up in large numbers, etc. So it's a balance between, these two things. I think if the BJP says they've worked on infrastructure and on economic development, it is true to some extent. If the opposition says soft infrastructure, which is government schools, government hospitals, is not really functioning the way it should function under BJP, that is also true. So that is a balance between here and there. And we have to wait for the 20th to see which part the voter gets convinced about and which way do the voters in Maharashtra, especially Western Maharashtra, where the Prime Minister is today, which way those votes go, Vasudha.
Absolutely. Matthew, the same question I asked to Rohit also. This whole narrative that MVA is against development, there are children of even rural voters, even SC, ST, OBC communities who want development, who feel that, that leads to more jobs. Infrastructure projects are not really derided as only for the rich. Do you think because, we also live in changing times, that is something that might hurt the Congress party that is focused a lot on social justice, welfare, and, this whole push to infrastructure is somewhat that is missing there?
Vasudha, it is quite strange to see from a television anchor, editor anchor, to say that no, we are against development, because who said we are against development? It is the Prime Minister who's always making a lie that the Congress is against development. MVA is corrupt. When MVA is in the opposition and the Mahayuti is ruling, how can we be corrupt? So we are saying that no, we need a holistic development. The infrastructure development is definitely required for the entire state, irrespective of whomsoever is in the government. But at the same time, we need development for the poor also, which is into the public education, public health care, public infrastructure for them, which can be afforded. They cannot afford high-end tolls. They cannot afford high-end fees, to go into use of public infrastructure. That's exactly what we are for. We need development in the state. Now, where is the BMC election happened in the last 2.5 years? If at all you wanted the corporators for each of the city to be developing, their infrastructures and all other things in the localities. Where is the Pune municipality elections which is being conducted? Everything is kind of taken by the government, taken care by the government. Contracts are being awarded without proper tenders. 800 crores was spent for Mumbai beautification. And what is that? You put tricolor lights across the post, whereas the students of the BMC schools are starving.
Okay.
What is the development?
Yeah, let me ask Mr. Siddharth. Siddharth, a different question for you. We actually, spoke a lot during Haryana debate, and you kept saying that it's the BJP that is winning. Do you think that after the Haryana election, the BJP has also changed its campaign, because now there's equal focus on caste? There's also an aggressive positioning when it comes to constitution and its protection. So clearly, it is not just development for the BJP. It's not just because there's something beyond Vikas also, because the importance of caste and welfare is also something that BJP has understood, because it's also focusing on freebies.
Vasudha, I'll quickly answer that, but before that, I'll just respond to Matthews. When we say that Mahavikas Aghadi is anti-development, the people of Maharashtra have seen that in the 2.5 years government that they led, how many projects were stalled and stayed by the government. The Mumbai Metro project, the Sealing project, there's a long list. And long list was of projects of development, infrastructure, hardcore projects that were not given sanctions, that were rejected in time or were stayed. That is what the people have seen, and that is why this contention is brought forward. But when it comes down to, you say that after post Haryana, we have to focus on other issues apart from development, and also the progress that we put to people. Definitely, Vasudha, I feel for a government that has made more aims that were made in 65 years in this country, the government that has come up with maximum number of new universities, maximum number of new IITs, maximum number of new triple IITs, we also had to face a lot of political vulturism in the Lok Sabha when people came up with fake narrative by saying the Samvidhan is in khatra and all of that. So we have to counter that, and we have to bring people to reality.
Absolutely.
And show the
Let's
real
ask
side
the
of the
expert that
opposition.
question. Rohit, do you see that there's a visible, evident difference in the way the Prime Minister and the whole of BJP is campaigning, because there seems to be equal focus on a lot of things, and also the importance of Mumbai MMR region? Can you also tell our viewers, because the Prime Minister is focused on Pune and of course Mumbai. In fact, he is going to have this massive rally in Shivaji Park on the 14th. So clearly that area of the state is also important for the BJP specifically, even if it's not for the allies.
Vasudha, the BJP is taking this election very seriously, very, very seriously. And you see all their top leaders, including PM Modi, Home Minister Amit Shah, and all others, many others like Yogi Adityanath, etc., coming to Maharashtra, doing rallies and all of that, because Maharashtra is the most industrialized, the top economically at the top slot kind of a state. It has Mumbai, which is the financial capital, and it has all the industry and economic factors that matter. Now, the thing is, the BJP's worry is they don't want the election to go the way the Lok Sabha election went, in the sense that they can see that in the rural areas of Maharashtra, the agro sector, the farm distress, and all these things affected them quite a lot in Marathwada or Vidarbha or some parts of Western Maharashtra. While in urban areas, they did relatively well, like they won the Pune seat, they won some seats in Mumbai, etc.
Right.
So I think what I can see here and what I want to tell your viewers is that, the BJP is trying to balance this now, saying that we are working for farmers also, we are working in rural areas also, and we want to retain our urban middle class, higher middle class votes
Absolutely.
also.
I think that is what the
Generally
BJP is
speaking, they're
also
likely
trying to do.
well in urban areas,
Right.
but rural areas might be a challenge. Vasudha.
Absolutely. Thank you all of you for joining me on this show. It is development and welfare and caste this time, all in equal measure. Like Rohit was also pointing out, even as both sides wait for the other to make a mistake. Remember, the Maharashtra election is scheduled on the 20th of November. Of course, the results will come out on the 23rd, but it's Jharkhand that will be voting in its first phase tomorrow. We will be tracking that very closely. Time for a short break. Keep watching NDTV.
With air travel in India booming, it's really all about infrastructure keeping up to the massive growth of India's airlines. And that's what this airport is all about. It's part of a process in the country to take into account the massive growth of air travel. When this particular airport, the Noida International Airport, becomes operational, in the first phase, it'll cater to at least 12 million passengers every year. Ultimately, perhaps a few decades down the road, it could become the largest airport of its kind in Asia.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 50 Pro, world's first AI-powered pro-grade camera.
In a historic milestone, the Indian Army's Prashant light combat helicopter successfully conducted high-altitude firing designed for precision in extreme terrains. Prashant's performance reinforces India's capabilities in high-altitude operations. This achievement highlights the strength of Make in India and the spirit of Atmanirbhar Bharat.
तालियों के साथ हम स्वागत करेंगे आदरणीय मोदी जी का।
छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज की।
करप्शन फर्स्ट, आमचा अजेंडा आहे नेशन फर्स्ट.
घोषणा आणि जनतेचे पैसे लुटणं.
कट कमिशन आणि करप्शनला आमच्याकडे थारा नाही. त्यांचा परिवारवाद आमचा महाराष्ट्रवाद.
महाराष्ट्रामध्ये 1,75,000 जागा रिक्त आहेत. पण का भरत नाही? राज्याची जनतेच्या घमाच्या पैशाची तिजोरी लुटण्यासाठी हे सरकार आहे.
पूर्वीच्या सरकारच्या काळामध्ये निधी देताना त्यांना असं वाटायचं की त्यांच्याच खिशातले पैसे चालले. शेतकऱ्यांना मोफत वीज देण्याचं काम आपल्या सरकारने सुरू केलं.
It's a web of frauds, calls, luring emails, threatening messages. Cyber frauds have cast their net wide and everyone is at risk. We track the victims, their horror stories as they get conned online, extorted and robbed of their hard-earned money. How to identify a cyber fraud and how to stay cyber safe. What are your options? Fraud.con. Only on NDTV 24/7.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
India's IT capital is always buzz. It's literally a city that never sleeps. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
I now request the Honorable Prime Minister to launch NDTV World and address the summit.
It was the grand launch of NDTV World by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. NDTV World, as he laid out his vision for the India century at the NDTV World Summit.
कैसी सदी जिसमें भारत के प्रयासों से दुनिया में स्थिरता आए.
In the presence of those who are shaping our future.
मेरी तरफ से आपको ढेर सारी शुभकामनाएं हैं.
NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
NDTV proudly presents NDTV World Summit 2024, the India Century. I now request the Honorable Prime Minister to launch NDTV World and address the summit.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's inaugural session at the NDTV Summit outlined his vision for the India Century, driven by aspirational India.
हमारा प्रयास होगा भारत की सेंचुरी सिर्फ भारत की नहीं बल्कि पूरी मानवता की जीत की सेंचुरी बने.
The summit brought together prominent global leaders, highlighting India's pivotal role on the world stage.
Not just Indians trusting India's leadership, but the global South especially trusting India's leadership.
Permanent seat on the UN Security Council is something that should be India's right.
Canada is concerned, I think there are some very specific issues. I think a lot of people know that.
AI is going to be one of the most important, drivers.
It's a very exciting time for India, Indian cinema as well at a global level.
NDTV World Summit was more than just a conversation. It was a confluence of ideas poised to shape our global future. Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you. NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility, according to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024. NDTV is the top-most news platform in the country. Number one in both online and offline reach in India, beating all its competition. NDTV stands for trust.
Hello and welcome to India Sense, where I speak with global opinion makers.
The United States has made a strategic decision over the last 20 years to move closer to India.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching NDTV. Battle for Maharashtra is peaking. In fact, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah both were in the state of Maharashtra today. The Prime Minister addressed 3 rallies and the Home Minister is leading 2 big road shows. We'll get you all that and more in this bulletin. But first, the headlines. Congress stalls development. Prime Minister Modi's big charge while speaking in Maharashtra. This is against the Congress party specifically. He addressed 3 rallies in poll-bound state. Double PhD in stalling development. That's what the Prime Minister has alleged. Phase 1 of Jharkhand tomorrow. Voting in 43 constituencies is scheduled. Thousands of election officials and security personnel have been mobilized to ensure a smooth process. India-Pakistan tensions escalate in other sports too. Now, the Indian men's blind cricket team will not participate in 4th T20 World Cup for blind, which will take place in Pakistan from the 22nd of November to December 3rd. ICC sources have said that South Africa could be a backup venue for the Champions Trophy. India-Pakistan sports tensions have now escalated to other sports. Telangana minister tells NDTV that the government will crack down on those who attacked collector of Vikarabad, accuses BRS of fomenting trouble and also defends Chief Minister Revanth Reddy on accusations of awarding contracts to his relatives. We also have an NDTV exclusive ground report from India's newest airport at Jewar in Uttar Pradesh. Noida International Airport all set to redefine travel in North India. The top leaders from the BJP, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Home Minister Amit Shah and Union Minister Nitin Gadkari, have intensified their campaign efforts in Maharashtra ahead of the November 20th Assembly elections. In fact, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was in eastern Vidarbha and also in western part of Maharashtra today. He launched a scathing attack on the opposition, calling the Mahavikas Aghadi, the opposition's alliance comprising Congress, NCP led by Sharad Pawar and Shiv Sena led by UBT, the biggest khiladi in corruption. He also said that the Congress party was hell-bent on dividing the tribal community into different castes. Let's take a look at the special report.
A week to go for Maharashtra polls, and the political temperatures have raised a feverish pitch, with parties leaving no stones unturned. From Mahayuti, while the Shindes and Pawars and Fadnavis are trying to work out on the regional arithmetic, the BJP's top brass is spreading the message of Hindu unity. PM Modi is primarily targeting the agrarian belt, where the onion price rise caused the BJP some crucial votes.
हमें एकजुट रहना है और इसलिए मेरा तो आपसे एक ही आग्रह है, हम एक रहेंगे तो सेफ रहेंगे.
At the same time, we have the likes of Home Minister Amit Shah and Nitin Gadkari who are trying to woo the more urban populace in Mumbai and Nagpur.
मैं महाराष्ट्र की दीवारों पर बड़े-बड़े अक्षरों से लिखा हुआ पढ़ पाता हूं, यहाँ महायुति की सरकार बनने जा रही है.
In the MBA camp, Sharad Pawar and Uddhav Thackeray have undertaken a statewide tour to mobilize their voters. While the former is visiting villages, the latter is leading an all-out attack on Fadnavis and Shinde. Rahul Gandhi continued his attack on the BJP on the issue of constitution.
ये हिंदुस्तान का संविधान है. इसमें कहां लिखा है कि गरीब लोगों को दबाया जाना चाहिए, किसानों को सही दाम नहीं दिया जाना चाहिए? इसमें कहां लिखा है? तो प्रधानमंत्री जी ने इस किताब को, मैं गारंटी लिख के कह रहा हूं, प्रधानमंत्री जी ने इस किताब को पढ़ा तक नहीं है.
Uddhav Thackeray, whose luggage was checked by the EC officials, videographed the event and asked to do the same with those in power.
You know, if you're an opposition leader in Maharashtra today, you statistically have a 100% higher chance of being checked by the Election Commission officials when you're out campaigning. Unfortunately, those in power are not being checked at all. And when they are being checked, unlike the opposition, you're finding a lot more money in their bags. So I think in the interest of transparency, the Election Commission should be investigating the government a lot more. And I think that they should be investigating, as Uddhavji said, the Prime Minister and the Home Minister when they arrive for campaigning in Maharashtra. Because only doing it on one side seems a little suspicious.
Sources in the EC panel described checking as routine and pointed out that all top leaders are searched during the poll campaign. Ahead of PM Modi and Home Minister's marathon rallies in the state, the Maharashtra Congress chief used strong words to describe the BJP, and that hasn't gone down too well with the ruling dispensation.
मैं पूछना चाहता हूं, क्या अकोला जिले के ओबीसी के लोग आप बीजेपी को वोट करोगे? जो तुम आप बीजेपी को बनाने का समय आ गया है. बीजेपी को बनाने का समय आ गया है. ये इतनी मस्ती में आ गए कि ये किसी को, अब ये तो भगवान हो गए ना. पहले देवेंद्र जी थे.
शायद नाना पटोलकर जो कांग्रेस का चेहरा है, कांग्रेस ही है, जब वो कुछ बात बोलते हैं, इस प्रकार का जो जहर उगल रहे हैं, वो उनकी बौखलाहट का परिणाम है. वो हार मान चुके हैं, वो हार चुके हैं. ओबीसी समाज का सम्मान नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने जो दिया है, जो किया है, आज तक इतिहास में किसी ने नहीं किया.
As we enter the second and the last phase of campaign here in Maharashtra, the entire process seems to have become more volatile. From leaders using borderline abusive language to describe their political opponents, to the Prime Minister of the country calling for a caste consolidation. Which of these several formulas will work out will only become clear on the 23rd of this month. With camera person Krishna, this is Anuj Rai reporting for NDTV from Mumbai.
Moving on to more election news, extensive preparations are in place as Jharkhand heads to polls for the first phase of its assembly elections tomorrow. Voting in 43 constituencies is scheduled for tomorrow, with thousands of election officials and security personnel mobilized to ensure the process is smooth. In fact, polling parties have been dispatched to their designated locations as well, and special measures have been taken for 225 sensitive polling booths. Here's a report.
A day before Jharkhand goes to polls for the first phase of elections, Enforcement Directorate conducted multiple raids in a money laundering probe linked to alleged infiltration of Bangladeshi nationals. The raids were carried out at 17 locations across Jharkhand and West Bengal. JMN and Congress alleged they were a part of BJP efforts to further the Bangladeshi infiltration narrative.
ठीक इलेक्शन के पहले आप इस तरह की कवायद करते हैं, सिर्फ एक नैरेटिव सेट करने का प्रयास करते हैं।
देखिए, ईडी की ये छापेमारी बांग्लादेशी घुसपैठियों के लिए नहीं है, बल्कि ईडी की ये छापेमारी झारखंड में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की जमीन बचाने के लिए है।
The ED claims the agencies involved in actually helping the illegal immigrants, especially the illegal Bangladeshi immigrants settled in Jharkhand. So there were agencies, there were companies who were involved in it, who were actually securing forged documents for those illegal immigrants and helping them actually sneak into Jharkhand, settle here with so-called legitimate documents which they were procuring for them. So those are the agencies which are being raided.
But it was the issue of illegal migrants in Jharkhand that remained at center stage.
एक घुसपैठ को रोकना चाहिए या नहीं रोकना चाहिए?
Addressing a poll rally in Jharkhand's Bagmara, Union Home Minister Amit Shah said that no one can stop the implementation of the UCC, which is needed to check infiltrators and assure tribals that they would be kept out of its ambit.
ये लोग एक झूठ चला रहे हैं कि यूसीसी आएगा तो आदिवासी को तकलीफ पड़ेगी। मैं आपको बताने आया हूं, हमने तय किया है कि यूसीसी तो जरूर आएगा, झारखंड में आएगा, आपकी घुसपैठ रोकने के लिए आएगा, मगर यूसीसी में हमारे आदिवासी भाइयों बहनों को यूसीसी से बाहर रखा जाएगा, उन पर कोई असर इसका नहीं पड़ेगा।
Hemant Soren campaigned in Tundi, keeping his focus on women voters and the Maiya Samman Yojana.
सब जातीय राज बचा था और उसी समय हमने संकल्प लिया इस राज की सबसे पहले अपनी आधी आबादी महिलाओं को अपने पैर में खड़ा करने का काम करेंगे, उनको मजबूत करने का काम करेंगे और उसी के परिणाम स्वरूप आज इनके लिए मुख्यमंत्री महिला योजना सम्मान हम लेके आए हैं।
The timing of the ED raids just a day before the state goes to polls has raised many eyebrows. It remains to be seen whether they hurt JMM's prospects on polling day or not. In Ranchi, Prabhakar Kumar.
So infiltration, welfare, women voters, corruption and tribal identity remain prevalent issues of the campaign in Jharkhand. But it is also, tomorrow is also day when 31 assembly constituencies by polls will take place, including the high-profile seat of Wayanad, which used to be the erstwhile MP constituency of Congress leader Rahul Gandhi. Priyanka Gandhi is contesting from there. She also has a BJP candidate against her and also somebody from the left party. And this is apart from the other 30 constituencies which will also vote tomorrow. It's a direct fight between the Congress and the JDS in the Chennapatna by-poll, which is also being seen as high-profile. Union Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy's son, Nikhil Kumaraswamy, in fact, is fighting against local war horse and Congress candidate C.P. Yogeshwar. Now, this is a battle of political survival for Kumaraswamy and for Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar. This is an opportunity to settle scores after his brother lost the Bengaluru rural Lok Sabha seat in the Lok Sabha elections of 2024. Now that covers Chennapatna. Joining me now with more details on this story is my colleague from Chennai, Sam Daniel, and also Pratibha from Bengaluru. To you, Sam, first tell us about the big battle that has everybody completely captivated. Wayanad battle. Of course, it looks to be in some ways predictable. But this also is reflective of the growing stature that Priyanka Gandhi will have in the party, and this will be, if she becomes an MP, all Gandhis will be in the Lok Sabha. Tell us, what are the big takeaways from the campaign there?
That's right, Vasudha. Although technically it's a triangular contest, the key fight is going to be between Priyanka Gandhi and ruling LDF Satyan Mokere, a former MLA. The BJP has fielded Navya Haridas as sitting councillor. In terms of issues, the landslides has been dominating this. The Congress alleging that the central government has done very little for the rehabilitation and restoration of Wayanad after the landslides. Also other issues like the man-animal conflict there and the travel ban, particularly at night time along the forest going through the adjoining Karnataka. And Priyanka has been promising that she will work with the Karnataka government and sort this. The opposition, the LDF and the BJP have been targeting Priyanka, calling her an outsider and how she may neglect the constituency. And Priyanka has been taking on the BJP, calling the BJP as pro-rich, ignoring the poor farmers and poor people on the ground there. So it's going to be a fascinating contest, and Priyanka Gandhi would be hoping that she would be not only be able to win, but also expand her footprint and increase the margin, winning more votes than what Rahul Gandhi had.
Right. Thank you, Sam. Daniel. Also, Pratibha, tell us, Chennapatna, a prestige battle for DK Shivakumar and also for HD Kumaraswamy.
That's right. The stakes are really high for the candidates and even higher for their mentors, because we're talking of Nikhil Kumaraswamy versus CP Yogeshwar. Nikhil Kumaraswamy is the son of HD Kumaraswamy there. And for the Congress, it is a prestige battle for the DK brothers, because after losing the Bengaluru rural Lok Sabha seat, which also covers Channapatna there, DK Shivakumar is hoping to settle scores so that it becomes a tough battle between the two Vokaliga leaders, that is HD Kumaraswamy and DK Shivakumar, the answer to which will definitely lie tomorrow.
Right. Thank you, Pratibha, for joining us with those details. Moving on to other by-poll stories. In Punjab, by-polls are set to happen in 4 constituencies, and the high-profile seat of Gidarbaha is one of the hot seats in Punjab that will witness polls. Heavyweights like Amrita Waring, who is the wife of Congress chief Raja Waring, is contesting from here, and the BJP candidate is former Finance Minister Manpreet Singh Badal. The ruling Aam Aadmi Party has picked Akali turned court prominent businessman Dimpy Dhillon, who is testing waters as a Aam Aadmi Party candidate. It looks like a 3-cornered contest, but here's a report.
In Punjab, by-polls are happening in 4 constituencies, and we have come to Gidarbaha because it is also one of the hot seats where by-polls are happening. We have seen all the heavyweights are contesting from this constituency. So let's talk to these leaders to understand how this political campaign is going on and what are the issues of this constituency.
A former Kali bastion, now a Congress stronghold of party chief Amrinder Singh Raja Waring. Waring vacated the Gidarbaha seat after being elected as MP from Ludhiana. The Congress has fielded his wife Amrita Waring.
Every election is a new challenge, and Raja has been elected 3 times, not 2 times. I would like to correct you. And every election has been a new challenge for us. But you know, you learn from the challenges, then you fight them. You pass through it, you win them. First time ever in 78 years, it is that the women, any woman has been fielded by any political party in Gidarbaha. So definitely women are loving it. Since it's the first time that they are seeing any women being fielded, so I think they see this as a great opportunity for them.
On the other end of the battle is Manpreet Singh Badal, who contested his first election from this constituency. He is now trying his luck again, this time as a BJP candidate.
You know, I have had the privilege of representing this constituency 4 times in a row. Siyasat de rishte ta kache hunde, but प्यार ते मोहब्बत दे रिश्ते जड़े है वो निभदे भी है ते